A conversation between two friends on Facebook chat. Deborah, I can't believe it. He's only gone and bloody well cheated on me again. I'm so done with him. He keeps doing this to me and I keep forgiving him. I need to really embarrass him, get him where it hurts.
Oh my god, what are you planning to do, girl?
Remember those pictures he sent me a while back? #nudie.
I don't think that's a good idea. Awkward smiley.
I don't care. They're going out. Attach. Insert caption.
You're gonna regret this, girl. All I can say is no, don't do it. Please don't do it. Because one of us goes in and we all go through it. Let it go. Stop being a pity-pat and move on with your life, honey. Besides, have you seen the news today?
The government announced today that perpetrators of revenge porn will now meet new and more severe, graver and harsher punishments. Mrs. Member of Parliament said the change in how criminals will be penalised and punished was long overdue after a long-fought campaign by the anti-revenge porn organisation We Don't Want to See This. For more on this, we now go live to Anchor 2.
Yes, thank you. Indeed, the campaign to introduce harsher punishments to those who circulate revenge porn has been a long ongoing one. But today, the Anti-Revenge Porn Association, We Don't Want to See This, finally saw its ultimate victory when the government passed a law implementing a graver, more severe, and more rapid form of punishment for the culprits. In the case of female perpetrators, the government announced earlier today that the punishment will take the form of having to wear a recently developed, more updated version of the chastity belt for the rest of their lives. According to sources, this new metal device is designed in a way that every 2 hours the person wearing it will receive a painful and gut-wrenching electric shock. For male perpetrators, the criminals will have to face a newly redesigned mini guillotine. This new apparatus will not be used to execute or behead the culprit per se. Rather than taking off the head on the criminal's shoulder, it will be used to detach him from his other head. His London Tower and his crown jewels, that is.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi guys, this is Mosaic. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Jenny.
And welcome to our second podcast. Woo! Woo, woo, woo. Hope you're all having a good day wherever you are. We're currently recording on New Year's Day. And I just have to say, if you're not feeling depressed, frustrated and a tiny bit suicidal after spending so much time with family, then was it really New Year's? Debatable. Anyways, we're here to inject some positivity and laughter into your lives. And today I'm in London. And in case you didn't know, Janny's in Germany. So how's it going over there, Janny?
Yeah, not too bad. I spent New Year's and Christmas with family, and apparently so did you.
Yeah, it was great. How was your Christmas?
My Christmas was uneventful. It was just the immediate family. Just had dinner together. Literally, nothing much. Same for Christmas yesterday. I never make plans for New Year's Eve because everyone's always like, it's New Year's, we need to have the best night of our lives.
Yeah, there's so much pressure and it always ends up being a massive fail.
Yeah, and you just end up, being in your pajamas in bed, eating ice cream straight out of the tub.
Depressed, yeah.
Yeah, so I literally never make plans. I always, because it always ends up disappointing and because people cancel and you end up being drunk and then you just end up holding someone's hair while they're puking. It's never like...
It's so horrible, yeah. And there's always this like horrible energy and this horrible kind of undertone of like, oh my god, this year was just awful and we have to endure another year of life again. This is just the beginning of it. It's like a horrible overall feeling. I don't know, it's never good. Well, as you guys know, by the way, our last podcast was a Christmas one. So if you haven't heard it, have a listen. And it was kind of a one-off. It was a bit of a trial. And as we said, in that it wasn't really a true representation of the tone of our podcast and the kind of things we'll be discussing. It's a bit silly. We had a bit of singing as well.
No.
I mean, we like to be silly now and then, and we do sing on it and stuff. But in terms of topics and aiming to like raise awareness and start discussions, we do have a bit of, you know, more of a serious tone, and you'll hopefully see a bit of that today. So yeah, that's really the kind of thing that we'll be talking about, and hopefully starting some kind of debates. And you know, we want you guys to interact with us as well. Another thing as well is we didn't actually explain to the listeners how we came up with the name Mosaic.
Oh right, oh yeah.
Because
some people might be curious.
Yeah, like what the hell does that mean?
What's that about? I don't. Well, the story isn't particularly interesting or exciting. It's quite straightforward. It's basically because as we've mentioned before, I'm Tamil, and I was born and raised in Germany. Then I moved to the UK. Sarah is half Sudanese, half Italian. Also lives in the UK. Spent a few years in Dubai. So there's just a lot of cultures coming in, and the idea behind Mosaic, behind, you know, calling the podcast Mosaic, was just that, you know, like a beautiful piece of art, like a mosaic, we also are made of several pieces and several bits, but come together, it creates something absolutely gorgeous.
Beautiful, darling. Yeah, we're like a nice cocktail. Absolutely.
Nice
not the
cocktail.
horrible ones.
Not the deathly poisonous ones.
No, absolutely. So yeah, what about your Christmas? Tell us a bit more. I mean, my Christmas was a bit just uneventful as well.
You spent it with family, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. We went to some family friends. I went to their place, and they're half Ethiopian, half Nigerian. So it was a very multicultural Christmas. It was very nice and festive. Everyone kind of brought in their own little bits and bobs. So yeah, it was quite nice.
Like
we ended up watching.
Dinner.
Yeah, kind of, but no, they kind of cooked most of it because it was their house. But yeah. But yeah, it was really nice of them to have us. And then we ended up watching EastEnders, of course, which was the absolute worst ever. Like for the
does EastEnders have a Christmas special?
Yeah, it does every year, and there's always either someone dying, a massive fire, or just something really scandalous. And this year it was so dead. It was the worst EastEnders ever. For like people who watch it out there, you guys know it was so awful.
Aww.
Yeah, it really, really made me feel quite depressed. But anyways, moving on. How was your Christmas?
Christmas over here was okay as well. I also spent it with family, and just quiet, having a meal with sort of my parents, my brother's family, and sort of my sister-in-law's family. Yeah, but going back to Christmas, I have a story.
Okay.
And now this isn't a Christmassy story, so don't expect any sort of lovely sentiment here. But it's a good intro to today's topic of the show, which is revenge porn. So I was at dinner just chatting with my cousin, and he told me that like friends of his, they went to a wedding in Canada.
Right.
A few weeks ago. I think that the wedding must have been like early December. So this is 2016. A bit of a background information. The wedding was between two Tamil people, and just to sort of give you an idea, if you're not familiar with the culture, some of you might or might not know, but in my culture, if you're a guy and have premarital sex, it's fine. I guess as in most cultures, you're good. You're a guy, you know, you're allowed. Boys will always be boys, that kind of thing. But with girls, you better not. You better not have had sex before you're married.
Yeah, that's very prevalent in Arab and Muslim culture as well. So yeah. Definitely relate to that one.
Yeah. So they're just to give, you know, listeners out there a bit of background information. So this wedding was also between a Tamil girl and a Tamil boy. They'd been dating for a while. I think they were dating for like a year or two, and decided to get married. Lovely, absolutely wonderful. They did the Hindu ceremony. They signed the papers. They were married, and they just had a reception with friends and family. Now, at this reception, the girl's ex-boyfriend from a few years ago, he got access to the venue. Now, this lovely lad, he had a picture of, when they were still together, of her going down on him.
Oh my God.
And he decided to make copies of that and put a copy of that picture on every table so all the guests and families could see.
Oh, for God's sake.
As you might guess, the bride's family was not too happy about that. So, long story short, there was some blood, and a bit of fighting, and apparently the ex-boyfriend, the one who circulated those images, the one who made those copies, died as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah.
How did he die? Well, in the fight, in the brawl,
Yeah,
or
during
whatever?
during the fight. I think one of you know those heavy silver trays where you keep the food heater at buffets. So he someone cracked his skull open with that thing.
Well, that's karma for you. No, I'm joking.
Exactly. What goes around comes around.
Yeah. Oh God, that sounds bloody awful.
Yeah, that story was just, this wasn't going to be part of today's show, but then my cousin told me the story and I was like, this is just fits
in quite well, yeah.
With today's topic. And especially in a culture like ours, if an image like that gets circulated, the girl's life is done.
It's over.
Now, I don't know the details of what happened to her and how they sort of dealt with that. But it's pretty much done. Like, in that community, she's done for that family. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's...
Yeah, no, it's absolutely, you're basically blacklisted. Like, there's absolutely no point of you kind of showing your face in social circles. Like, it is really, like, gut-wrenchingly bad. It's really, really bad. And that's the thing that I really don't, like, really, really annoys me, is kind of this sense of, like, fulfilling karmic retribution. So the guy's like, well, he justifies it by saying, oh, well, I gave you my heart and my soul and you killed me, and it pisses me off that people sometimes just can't accept the fact that sometimes relationships don't work out.
Exactly.
You're better off with someone else. Just drop it. If you can't deal with it, get therapy, talk to someone you trust, and just come to a rational decision. Like, what is that going to do? That's just going to mess up your life, mess up their life. And it's just not good in any single way. It just really annoys me.
I think I don't know if it's similar to sort of the Arab culture. I can only assume that it is. But one of the reasons why these guys do what they do is because they just feel like their manliness was hurt, that they were left by another girl, and how dare she go find someone else and be happy? Like, how dare she? Like, she's a woman.
Think misogyny has like a massive part to play in it. Even in Italy, it's very, very, very prevalent. And it's just it's kind of like, well, it's kind of like, oh, a female's identity is formed by how conservative and modest she is. I mean, it is quite prevalent in Italy, but then also in the Middle East quite a lot as well. And it's annoying because people are just, I don't understand why people can't just be confident in the fact that there are loads of other people out there for them. Exactly. Like, you don't have to stoop this low. So it's kind of sad.
Don't get it. But talking about it when I was at dinner, and I talked about it with a few friends after that, and I was shocked to see that how few people know about revenge porn. There's actually quite a lot of people who are not aware of what revenge porn is.
Exactly. So we have an official term according to the UK government website. So for people who don't really know what it is, revenge porn is the publication of explicit material portraying someone who has not consented for the image or video to be shared. The law now makes it illegal to disclose a private sexual photograph or film without the consent of the person depicted in the content and with the intent to cause them distress. So that's one of the main things. I mean, doing it with malicious intent.
No one's,
well, unless you're doing it for, I don't know, for like art or showing off, your partner's body. Look how wonderful they look.
No. Right,
but so another thing, also, when I told someone that this is quite interesting. I told someone I was going to discuss this topic, and they turned
Discuss
around.
revenge porn on the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they turned around and said, "Are you pro or anti?"
Are you
and I
pro
was-
or anti-revenge porn?
Yeah. Yeah, and I was kind of instantly kind of horrified, but then I was thinking maybe it's something we should touch on. Is there ever a time where revenge porn is acceptable?
No.
No.
Wait, when would that be acceptable?
So imagine he did something like really, really awful to you. Is it ever acceptable?
No, even if he...
Yeah, I don't think
If
it
he
is.
killed my parents...
Would you do it?
No, I just kill him. I wouldn't
Yeah.
even, like, no. Why is that? No, I don't get it. I genuinely do not get it. If he killed your parents, go and kill him.
But maybe
Fine.
spreading images is like worse than actually killing someone. You're killing their reputation and you're killing them being able to navigate socially for the rest of their
But
lives.
the thing is, you're not just killing him, though. You're killing his parents. You're embarrassing not just him, but everyone around him
yeah,
as
that's
well.
what I'm saying. Yeah, so like
So people who didn't cause you any harm end up paying for this. Right?
oh right, so
his siblings...
it's like harm on like a larger scale rather than just killing him and then
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the end of
yeah.
it. Okay, yeah, I know what you mean.
The
But
ripple
yeah,
effect is so much bigger than just that we
killing
you know,
someone off. But then you hurt them by killing one of their loved ones. You know, they have to deal with that pain as well. So there's a ripple effect either way. I think revenge is just the wrong thing, like altogether. I feel like it's just better to kind of see your life in multiples. So if one thing closes, there are always 100 million different, paths or people or whatever. So don't have this tunnel vision and just be like, okay, well, that person was meant for me and I want to, be vindictive and just ruin their lives. No, just move on, close that chapter and just be done with it. And
exactly.
that's it. That's my personal
Because
opinion.
you by doing something like that, you're not only putting her into a position where she can't move on, but you can't move on either, right?
Exactly, yeah. It's just
So you're ruining your life as well.
Yeah, and obviously people who like potential future partners will be like, well, what the hell, you did that? You think I want to be with you? No.
Exactly.
It ruins your life as well, definitely. So in answer to that, we are definitely anti in any case.
Yeah,
We
in
wouldn't
case
do
you're
that.
wondering.
Yeah.
But to sort of go back a bit, and for those who might not be too aware of the subject, who might not have read about it too much, who might not be that informed about it, I've actually prepared a little quiz. It's not supposed to be playful because we don't want to sort of take any gravitas from the subject matter, but it's just to sort of give you an idea of the numbers and sort of the extent of revenge porn.
Okay, hit me with it.
So yeah, here goes. All right. So this the information, the statistics that I'm going to reference, it was taken from a survey conducted by the non-profit Cyber Civil Rights Initiative. So basically, what they did is they took about 2,000 people, roughly 2,000 people, and they just interviewed them. Right. So yeah, just to give you a rough idea of the numbers and how this survey was done.
Okay.
So, how many people do you think have taken nude photos or videos of themselves and shared them with someone else?
Well, yeah, it's a very common thing. Like, I read an
Sexting.
article as well, the other day, and people were like, oh, people tend to think that it's always teenagers or naive people that do it, but like a lot of people do it. So I would say kind of the majority, or maybe like 60% of that.
That's wow, that's bloody spot on. Yeah, 61%.
Shut up. Oh my god, I'm a genius. Okay.
Well done. Of these respondents, how many do you think have been victims of revenge porn? So how many do you think have had their intimate photos or videos leaked by their exes without consent?
So I would say maybe like 10% of that, or 5%.
So it was 23% of
Oh.
the whole the whole people. So it was about 360 people.
Okay.
That is
that is a lot.
that's so 2 out of 10 people have had their stuff leaked.
Yeah,
That's horrible.
That's crazy. That really is. And a lot of people
Yeah.
don't really even report it. They're just kind of like too
Stay
ashamed.
quiet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, out of these victims, these revenge porn victims, which is what they are, it will come as no surprise that 93% reported significant emotional distress, and 82% reported suffering impairment in social, occupational, or other areas of functioning. Again,
Oh,
no
yeah.
surprise. But how many of the respondents do you think contemplated suicide after the incident?
I would say all of them.
Actually, just half of them.
Oh.
People are.
No, 'cause
People say,
I would think that would be the initial thought, like,
really?
shit. Yeah, like, oh my god, there are pictures of me out there. And like I've watched a few documentaries on it, and almost every interview the person was like, as soon as I saw those images, I wanted to take my life. Like, that's the initial thought I had, and that's the first
Yeah.
thing they told their parents.
Well, I mean, it isn't clear on the survey whether contemplating suicide is just like a thought, like a flash thought, oh, I want to end it, or where they actually, tried it.
I also wonder if guys deal with it better. Like, are most men kind of like, is it more a female thing where they feel suicidal because,
Well, Sarah, I've got the questions.
Oh!
So, yeah, it's actually not just men who do these, who leak these kind of images or videos. Women also are the culprits in these cases. But what do you think is the exact percentage of female victims as opposed to male victims? Like, what do you think is the percentage of women that suffer?
So I did a bit of research on this as well,
Go
and
on.
I was just interested, and it said that for every 8 female complainants, there was 1 male complainant. So, okay, I would say the majority were female. So I would say maybe around 300 were female.
Not 90%, yeah. 90% were
Okay.
female. But the thing is that although women are more often the victim of these things, it's the male that is more likely to report it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I think
Okay.
that makes quite a lot of sense because with women you have this culture of slut shaming, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they'd rather just keep the hush hush, whereas the man is like, how dare you? Like, I don't have to be ashamed, so I'm gonna go to the police and get you,
Yeah, exactly.
get this dealt with. Whereas women are like, oh, I can't. This has to be hushed up. I can't talk about it with anyone. I just, whatever, do what he says, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But there are loads of male victims that are just
Yeah.
that don't.
So
a lot of them-
it's not just something that affects women. Like, both genders do it. Both genders suffer.
Yeah, definitely. There's also a few stories about male victims, especially footballers and rugby players. So it does happen a lot, where dick pics are shared of famous men. So I think one of the latest ones was, so this is from the Daily Telegraph. It says, jilted ex-girlfriend of league star Bryce Cartwright. I think he's a rugby player. He's charged after threatening to kill him. And basically it seems like a very heated relationship, but she basically shared pictures of him on Facebook. So it does happen, I think, a lot to footballers, and I think they get blackmailed as well. So, and also apparently gay and lesbian young adults are very vulnerable to these kind of crimes as well.
Oh God! Like, that community doesn't have enough to deal with.
To deal with, I know. So yeah, it says, our findings show that particular groups such as young adults and lesbian, gay and bisexual Americans are not only much more likely to be victims of non-consensual pornography, but are more likely to experience a range of online harassment and abuse. This includes other types of privacy violations, such as having their online or phone activity monitored, or having their passwords stolen or coerced by others. So yeah, it tends to be a lot of vulnerable groups that are at risk of these kind of crimes as well. And I think
Absolutely.
people also underestimate how damaging it is, because obviously online is the wild wild west, and it has made us so vulnerable because so much of our private lives is online, and
Yeah.
a lot of people actually go on to creating fake profiles for their ex-boyfriends or girlfriends and putting it on like dedicated communities that host revenge porn stuff, and they also set them up for like escort websites. So it's opening up it's like opening their exes up to getting not only virtually harassed but also physically harassed. Like people have actually been stalked and just harassed as a consequence of having their images put online under like a fake identity. And like so yeah, I watched this thing called Inside the Torturous Fight to End Revenge Porn, and this girl was actually saying that her ex was like, oh my god, you broke my soul, you like killed me, and I'm gonna do something to get you back, on the same level. And then basically he signed her up to all these escort websites soliciting sex of strangers, and then she had people stalking her, coming to her door, and she had to move houses, and it was just like a massive drama. So I think people don't really get how bad it can really, really be. And a lot of people actually get like post-traumatic stress disorder from it as well, and depression.
Yeah.
It ranges from like losing your job and being socially ostracized to really severe mental illnesses.
Oh, bloody hell. I just can't. Yeah. But surely you can't be fired for those things. Like you need a proper reason. You can't just fire someone because their sex tape is out there, or
No, but I think it just causes a lot of uproar. Like imagine if you worked in quite a well-known corporation and then people were like, oh well, we saw your senior manager in this video, and then and it attracts people for the wrong reasons, and it just causes too much drama, and I don't think companies really want that.
Oh right, yeah. And it's not just something that happens in the UK or in the US. Like this is like a global phenomenon.
Yeah, it really is. I actually have a story from Italy. So this kind of attracted my attention because these images of her were basically spread on a national level. And I didn't actually know that it could get this bad. I thought it was always kind of like amongst the same mutual social group of friends.
Circle, yeah.
Yeah. So basically she actually sadly committed suicide because of this explicit video of her that had spread nationwide. So it had gone to the point where people were actually producing merchandise of her on it, quoting something she said in the video. So basically she said something in the video, don't know what it was, but it was probably something, like kinky or whatever.
Yeah.
And people started producing like tops and mugs and things like that with the quote on it.
Bloody hell.
It got really bad. So she moved away from the city, but it kind of seemed to follow her everywhere. She couldn't get away from it. And the law wasn't really able to protect her, even though she went to the police with it. And she basically committed suicide.
Wait, when was this?
I think it was about a year ago.
How is the law not able to help her? Like a year ago, I'd say people knew about it, right? Because it became like this big phenomenon about roughly more than 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that's the thing with an online with these online images, it's kind of like you cannot contain it. Like it's just once it's spread, not even the law can contain it, because there are different ways, and these kind of these dedicated revenge porn websites sometimes even avoid, like they will not put them down even after you request it. They will not put the image down or delete it, and they're just, some of them are a bit stubborn with it. So yeah, it is a very cultural issue. However, we do see that kind of apathy in the UK, I think, maybe for the same reasons, but in a more covert way. So obviously there's a stance where we kind of feel, I think that also stems from the fact that we're quite desensitized to sexual images, and us not realizing the severity of it. But I think the laws changed in the last year or so. So I think people are starting to realise that it does lead to suicide, and mental illnesses, because a lot of stories that I've actually heard have shown that the police have been like, well, you need to show evidence that was your body posted online.
Lol.
And yeah, it's like, how the hell are you meant to prove that? It's just ridiculous. So anyways, moving on, the law now says that the change will basically, there's been a change, and it will cover the sharing of images both offline and online, and it will mean that images posted to social media and sites such as Facebook and Twitter will be caught by the offence, as well as those that are shared via text messages. Images shared via email on a website or the distribution of physical copies will also be caught, and those convicted will face a maximum sentence of 2 years in prison.
Okay, well that's something. But that's in the UK, right?
Yeah, that's the UK.
Well, that's something.
But, yeah, and I mean, I think other countries as well have seen that it's against, human rights and privacy, and it is extremely distressful. So I think people are moving towards being more active.
Yeah, I guess as you sort of get more news about these events happening all over the world in sort of all sorts of age groups, politicians are sort of just pressured into taking actions and sort of protecting their people with the law. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But there are also other reasons why people do it. So we heard a few stories about people extorting money. So you heard a story on that, didn't you?
Yeah. So initially, when I sort of did my research, I went into this thinking, oh, this is something that jilted lovers do. They want to take revenge on their exes because they weren't happy with the way their relationship went, or because they were disappointed with the breakup, whichever. But I stumbled upon this article on the BBC, and it was about the so-called Skype sex scam. So basically, what happens is these young men, and for some reason, it mostly targets Arab men. Mm-hmm. So these young men get chatted up on Facebook by seemingly quite attractive ladies. Most people who are on Facebook will know they'll get like spam invites from girls in bikinis.
And do they target just like rich Arab guys, or is it just any guys from the Middle East?
I think they just target anyone.
Oh, imagine scamming someone who's really broke, and then they're like, sorry, babe.
Go for it. Maybe that'll get me some money. Get some fame that way.
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, so what they do is these girls, they get these invitations on Facebook by these quite beautiful, sexy ladies, and they accept their request. They start chatting. It then continues into a video or a Skype call, and it always happens in a way that these men are encouraged to do certain things on video while they're on the call. Mm-hmm. So it almost always ends up with the guys pleasuring themselves. Mm-hmm. Now, what these guys don't know is that during this whole period they are being filmed.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so on the BBC article that I read, this one guy, he sort of talked about what happened to him, and I'm just going to read like a quick little excerpt. A half hour later, I get a message on Facebook saying, listen, I'm a man and I recorded a video of you masturbating. Do you want to see it? He sends me the video. It's about 5 minutes of me masturbating. The message continues, I have a list of your friends and families from Facebook, your mom, your sister, your cousins.
Oy.
You have 1 week to send me 5,000 euros, which comes about 4,000 pounds. Mm-hmm. Or I'll send them the video, so these contacts. I was in shock. My first thought was to send them the money immediately, but I cancelled them as a Skype contact, and right away I get a message on WhatsApp. I'm here, it says.
Oh my god.
That's like another level. This isn't just a jilted lover. This is made as a business, right? These girls are, or these men or this organization, they target men.
It's like reeling you in by your weakness.
Play them in a way that they sort of, they have this material and then blackmail them for money. It's just another level, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty bad.
Another story that I found while researching this topic. So basically what happened is this young woman from India, She,
Can I just say, before you move on, people find the weirdest ways to make money online. Like, there are loads of girls that actually pay that pay to get like women's used knickers and socks and things like that. And
wait, isn't that this machine in Japan where you can buy used
yeah, I've seen that. Oh my god. So yeah, people are really using the internet to their advantage. It's like, yeah, just order these like used knickers or whatever, and we'll make like a few dosh over it. Just send the money over via PayPal, and we're sorted. But yeah, to be honest, it is easy money.
It's easy money, but it's
easy sleazy money. Don't do it.
Can you sleep can you sleep well?
Can you what?
Can you sleep well if you do these what?
Oh, not the scamming thing. Yeah, I would never do that.
Not just those who do it as a business, but even the exes, the one night stand, whatever. Like, how do they even sleep at night? Like, what? Listen, I'm not the nicest person, all right? But
yeah,
I feel like a piece of shit.
No, some people have dark souls. Like, they don't care. People that do these kind of things aren't mentally well. And also, there has been a massive link between people that have drug and alcohol issues that do these kind of things. So I think all the regret is numb. Like, that's numbed by all the drugs and all the other stuff that you're taking. So if you think about it that way, it does make sense. It's like, oh, these people are just not well.
Clearly, they're not the same as us. Like, something in their biology or their chemistry, whatever, is off.
It's off, exactly. So, but
well,
anyways,
one of these not mentally sane person, he hacked the cloud of this young woman from India, and he emailed her saying, oh, I'm a hacker, I got access to all of your pictures, which also included some intimate pictures that she'd sent to her now ex-boyfriend. So he goes, if you don't do what I tell you to do, I will send these contacts, these pictures, these images to your family, friends, and also colleagues, because he's got access to all her email contacts.
Right.
So, but this guy, he didn't want any money. What he wanted was more intimate stuff. So he said, I want you to take more pictures and videos of you pleasuring yourself. Otherwise, I will leak this stuff. Now, this rock star of a lady, she goes onto Facebook and posts this whole thing herself. She just comes clean, and she just goes, so she just wrote this post on her Facebook page, just sort of saying what happened to her, that she's been hacked and that this guy got hold of her intimate images. And she writes the following: as embarrassing as the videos may be, they were sent to my boyfriend at the time. I choose to stand up to this man instead of cowering down to his requests. I do this so that other women may take a lesson to stand up to bullies and lowlifes like this, and may get the confidence to stand up as well.
Oh, that's so brave.
She basically just took the wind out of his sails, which I think is it's brilliant, because
really
that's what these guys are scared of, right? They think, oh, she'll never come clean, that's the last thing she wants. But if we just take that power away from them, they're nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
I
That's
just think
such a brave thing to do.
Exactly, especially from a girl, from that kind of culture. As I said before, premarital relations are just a huge no-no.
Yeah.
So for her to actually go onto Facebook, where she's got family and friends and colleagues, and just to be like, listen, I did this. It's a bit embarrassing, but you know what? I'm human. We all make mistakes, and it's no fault of my own that this is being leaked. Some idiot decided that he could hack my email account and blackmail me. And just for her to stand up like that, I think that's an absolute rock star move. Yeah,
that is amazing, honestly. But it does take a hell of a lot, because it is an extremely hard thing to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that does kind of go hand in hand with like the power we give to that form of humiliation. So
yeah.
And it's kind of linked to slut shaming and the power that we give to how we see things, and how we, like, what kind of element of shame we feel. So the whole thing with like the Amber Rose slut walk. Have you heard about that?
I've heard of it, but I can't say I know the details.
So it's basically a campaign against slut shaming. And I feel like sometimes it's good in the way that, you know, it's wrong to slut shame people that have been raped or, you know, that have, you know, suffered because of, I don't know, bullying or whatever.
Yeah.
But is that good? Is it healthy to kind of move towards desensitizing us to these images? Do you think that's a good thing? Do you think that's the right approach? So do you think it's better that we kind of numb ourselves to these images and move towards somewhere where we're more sexual, we're more kind of open, we free the nude, so to speak?
Oh, so that's what she did. She herself released images of...
No, but she's very openly sexual. Like, she poses naked a lot, and she's kind of like, yeah, well, I'm a slut.
Okay.
She calls herself a slut. She's like, yeah, I'm a slut, so what, kind of thing.
Oh, she's sort of taking ownership of that word and sort of redefining it.
Yeah, so she's like, look,
Okay.
I'm empowered. I'm in charge of my
Yeah.
sexuality.
I do get that, because that's, again, it's just taking the sail out of the wind of those who use it in a derogatory way, right? So
Yeah.
I think we did that sort of transition with the B word, where now it's sort of like everyone uses it, so it's not necessarily a bad word anymore. So maybe she's sort of aiming that with slut.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, here's my deal. I think it's her right to be naked, and I don't think she should be judged for it. I don't think she should be shamed for it. If she feels confident in her body, if she likes the way she looks, and she wants to post it onto the wall, I think that's okay. But at the same time, I obviously am aware of the other side of the coin, where you know what you argued, that people get desensitized and numbed to those images.
Yeah, and is that healthy? I don't know.
But here the thing is that I think this is where good parenting comes in. Don't let your bloody children walk around with a cell phone. No, listen. Okay, I don't have a child, so maybe I'm not the best person to sort of talk about it, but do keep an eye on what your children are doing. Don't let them be on Instagram if they're 14.
No. Yeah,
like,
social
obviously they're
media
going to
is
look at
the
all
worst.
sorts of stuff on the internet. They're going to see things, and you know, they don't these days. Yeah, I admit it, they don't have to go onto porn websites or any of that stuff to see certain images. They find it on Instagram, they find it on Twitter, they'll find it anywhere. So I do see the problem, but at the same time, I don't think it's right to say to Amber Rose, you can't dress like this, you can't act like this, because I don't want my children to see this. Just raise your children properly then.
Yeah, no, exactly. And
that's
I think
my stance, but yeah.
I think basically it all stemmed from her. Basically, Kanye West, he had this interview, and because, you know, they dated, and then he was like, oh, you know, after being with Amber Rose, I had to take 100 showers because she was a stripper and she was dirty. Yeah, and she was really upset, and she during her like campaign, they had like a march, and she was crying when she was talking about it, and it was so heartbreaking. It was like, you know, people don't understand how these words can really impact people.
Yeah.
But at the same, so I'm kind of a bit undecided on her, like, this slut shaming topic, because I feel that slut shaming is obviously terrible, but it's all kind of like, we need an element of shame to be healthy. I feel like you need to feel, but it's more of like personal shame than like shaming someone else, if you know what I mean. So it's more of an internal thing where you're like, you need to be kind of balanced. Like, okay, what I did, was it right? Was it wrong? Should I do it again? Did it make me feel good? Did it make me feel abused? Or, you know, like, did it put me down? Was it demeaning? And you decide for yourself. So you be the judge for yourself. But for other people to shame you, I feel like that's totally wrong. But I kind of do you feel like we're moving towards a society where we're freeing the nude? You know how they have the free the nipple thing?
Yeah.
Do you feel like one day we'll just all be walking around naked? In like 500 years from now, and everyone will be like, revenge porn, no one cares anymore.
Going back
we
to
did
the roots.
that. Yeah.
I don't know if it's, I don't think we'll be living like, you know, we'll be running around naked, but I think we might get more used to seeing people naked.
Yeah.
Because where will that sort of you have these communities that nudists, right? So that's what they do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like within those communities, these kind of images, revenge porn, isn't that big of a deal, because it's all out there in the open anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be an effective tool of like humiliating people. It would just be kind of like, you know, like redundant. Like no one would care. And I'm just thinking, like, would that be good, or would there be flaws in that kind of society if we did move towards that? And are we moving towards that? I don't know.
I think that's okay, because like, for me, there's a difference between naked and erotic. You can be naked without being erotic, and
that's true. That's true.
And I think that's also how I understand things like free the nipple. It's not, I want to be erotic out in the open. I don't want people to see my nipple and sort of get a hard on. I think it's more of, this is how I was made, and I don't have to be embarrassed for that. This is just my body. Just deal with it. It's just a bag of fat. That's what
exactly.
These things
Yeah.
are.
I think a lot of people have an issue differentiating the two. That's where all the issues come in, and the confusion, and I'm like, what is slut shaming and what is okay, and but yeah, it is relative, I think, to the kind of upbringing you've had and where you live and what kind of people you surround yourself with. It depends on a lot of things.
But sort of going back to sort of us as a community, where we are now, how we are now, I think we have to not only look at, because we talked about the law and how sort of the law deals with these culprits who do sort of start to, you know, leak these images, videos, whatever. But I think another side of this is that we have to demand responsibility from those who share these images and watch these images.
Definitely, yeah.
Because they also, you know, they give these people power as well, right? Because if he knows no one's going to watch it, then why would he do it in the first place?
Exactly.
So then we as a society have to sort of...
Yeah, sorry, carry on. Finish your sentence.
Yeah, no, that was it. Yeah, we as a society just have to sort of step up and sort of just, you know, prevent them from being able to slut
We do,
shame.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. And that kind of brings me on to, like, my personal experiences of how I've seen other people share these images around me and how I've reacted to it. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there are gang members that use revenge porn as like a way to blackmail.
Gang members? What, in London?
Yeah, so I don't know where this took place. I just basically came across this video on social media, and it was basically a guy forcing a guy to do something, being threatened like with a weapon.
Wait, why this? So like he was literally at gunpoint, was forced to do these acts.
Yeah. I don't like it. Actually upsets me even just like thinking about it. It was rape, and I feel like a lot of people watching that didn't see it as that. They were just like, oh my god, ha ha ha, or like, oh my god, this is shocking, and just left it there. It was circulating on social media anyways, and then I was just like, what the hell, this doesn't need to be shared. So I was just I mean,
so this popped up on your social media rather than you were shown this by...
Yeah, and it was also on my Snapchat, and I just wasn't happy with that. But I feel like that's the thing, like, we need to kind of take a step back and be like, is this good that we're sharing it? We're just participating in the whole cycle of humiliation and embarrassment, and we just need to take a step back and be like, you know what, that's wrong. And and also another guy that I used to talk to uploaded a video of this girl's behind this girl's bum, and she had no idea that it was on there, but it was like her bare bum. I think her skirt was like lifted up or something by accident.
Oh my god.
I said to him, does she know that that's up? And he was like, no. And then I was like, that probably shouldn't be there. It's not that funny. It's like they were just taking the piss out of her. I was like, take that down. No one really wants to see that. And it's not funny. Like, I don't really know anyone who would find that funny. Like, she was a bit overweight as well. And it was like, okay, I know what you're trying to get at. And it's just pathetic. Like, really. I just think we kind of need to...
Yeah, be less...
We need to have more of a scolding culture where we're like, no, this is not
You can't
cool.
do this, yeah. Oh, well, in these instances, what I would love to be able to do is just sort of pick these guys, not just the one who sort of starts the whole thing, but sort of go to the person sharing it, go like to their parents or to their mom, be like, your son just shared this with me. What do you think about this?
Yeah. That would be so good, actually. Like, if they, on social media, they should have like an option where it's like share with their parents or share with their mum or dad, and it goes directly to their parents. Yeah, I'd like to see like some African or Asian parents dealing with that.
Right.
Okay, so we have a few helplines. So if you need further advice on how to get explicit online material removed, you can contact the Revenge Porn Helpline on 0845 633 459. There are also a few websites as well. So there's www.revengepornhelpline.org.uk, and there's also endrevengeporn.com, which is actually it's victims dedicated to helping other victims. And we also have a clip from her name is Nika Allen, and she talks about her fight with revenge porn and her experience of it. So this is a bit of a clip.
What are you thinking right now? Was this my fault? Did you ever think that all of these phones, all of these cameras could be used to hurt us? Probably not. I sure didn't. But why not? 2 words: trust and consent. We trust that our partners would never take photos of us without our consent. In the age of the internet, we use text, email, and social media to connect, to communicate, and even to express intimacy. Electronic intimacy. It's still intimacy in a world where so many of us struggle to connect. But the problem is that our laws haven't caught up yet. So what are the laws that prevent people from harming each other on the internet? Unfortunately, there aren't many. Yes, free speech is wonderful, but revenge porn and online harassment are not. They're assaults against real people and deserve real consequences.